So I showed you paperwork from legal action, which was issued by Matchroom Boxing, allegedly, against Andy Ruiz's promoter. Well, according to Mike Coppinger, who is a well-known journalist, sports journalist, he says that, according to sources, Matchroom/Eddie Hearn began legal process last week towards an injunction, along with damages, to enforce Ruiz-Joshua rematch in Saudi Arabia. Powerhouse firm Debevoise, is that how you pronounce it? Debevoise and Plimpton was retained. Lawsuit filed yesterday in New York after agreement reached. Suit withdrawn today. So Coppinger is saying that the agreement for the fight in Saudi Arabia has been reached, and the lawsuit has now been dropped. Now, according to the Mail Online, Andy Ruiz was originally supposed to get £8 million. I've seen some places say it's actually $8 million. So I'm not sure which is the correct figure. But there are other sources saying that Ruiz has now negotiated £10 million, which could also be $10 million. So he's getting an extra $2 million, whether it's pounds or dollars, according to certain sources. So was this Andy Ruiz's plan all along to just try and maybe not his plan, maybe Al Heyman's plan, to just dig their heels in for as long as possible and act like they're ready for a court battle when all they really wanted was a bit of extra money? Or were they actually willing to go to court if they weren't paid the extra money? So, let me know what you guys think. As I said in the previous video, we can't know for sure whether the situation really has been resolved until both parties come out and state that publicly, because the world of boxing is very chaotic, and one day something can seem like it's nailed on, definitely going to happen, and the next day it's all up in the air, and vice versa. So if you've got any more information about this developing situation, then please drop links and comments in the comment section below to enlighten us all. All right. Hopefully it has been resolved and the situation can proceed. As I said in previous videos, in an ideal situation, I would have preferred to see Andy Ruiz unify with Wilder rather than get dragged into a rematch with Anthony Joshua, but it is what it is. That's not happening. AJ versus Ruiz 2 is still a good fight. It's still an intriguing fight. And, one of the things that I forgot to mention in a recent video about AJ is the fact that AJ, even though he was quite aggressive in defending his relationship with Rob McCracken, saying that people who think he should fire Rob McCracken are clowns, so I guess that includes me. Perhaps he was mainly focusing at Lennox Lewis, but within that same interview that he did with Anna Woolhouse, he also said that he considered getting rid of Rob McCracken. That thought went through his mind, but he thought to himself, there's not enough time for me to bond with another trainer. I'm paraphrasing here, but this is basically what he said. There's not enough time for me to bond with another trainer between now and the Ruiz rematch. There's not enough time for him to adjust my style. So let me not do that right now. I'm a little disappointed by that. Perhaps AJ needs another loss before he realizes that Rob McCracken is an excellent trainer, but is he the perfect fit for AJ? Can he get the best out of AJ's physical potential? I personally don't think he can, and I've been saying this for 18 months, long before the Ruiz loss ever happened. I've been saying it on record in my videos. But whatever the case is, the fight's happening anyway. It's still going to be very interesting to see what adjustments can be made, and hopefully we get both parties singing from the same hymn sheet that the fight is going to happen. The last thing that any of us want, certainly me, is a big protracted legal battle that keeps one or both fighters out the ring for any length of time. I've seen Eddie Hearn in some interviews kind of clapping back at Bob Arum, saying that Bob Arum wants Andy Ruiz to lose. He hates Andy Ruiz. And to be honest, he hasn't been very complimentary of Ruiz, which kind of surprised me. It makes me think that maybe there was either some bitterness from Arum that Ruiz left, or I don't know, they just didn't get along as people. I'm not sure, but quite interesting, Arum's attitude towards Andy Ruiz. But this also exposes the nonsense. I mean, I already exposed it in a video several days ago. The nonsense which has been coming out of Bob Arum and Frank Warren's mouths, saying that the US State Department have advised their citizens not to travel to Saudi Arabia. Completely untrue. I already exposed that in a video where I went to the US State Department website and I saw the travel advisories for various different countries, including Saudi Arabia. And the State Department certainly hasn't advised American citizens not to go there. Absolute, complete and utter nonsense. Frank Warren and Bob Arum need to get their facts straight about that. And the heavyweight championship of the world should be exactly that, of the world, not the heavyweight championship of Mexico or the heavyweight championship of America or the heavyweight championship of the UK. No, it should be global. And so I do think that this event is following in the footsteps of the Thriller in Manila, the Rumble in the Jungle, etc. It's a boxing event which will help spread the sport globally. And I'm definitely in favor of that, because boxing is a sport which historically and still now is one way that poor people, oppressed people can fight their way out of poverty. So why not spread that kind of sport worldwide as far as it can go? Yeah, I see more positives coming from it than negatives. And who knows, maybe in the future we'll get some talent from the Middle East, boxing talent. As I mentioned before, Prince Nassim is an Arab. So, maybe there are other Prince Nassims out there in that particular region. We'll see, because you look at the Philippines, the interest in boxing was really sparked by Muhammad Ali fighting Joe Frazier there in Manila. Yeah, so anyway, drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel. It's happening. I'm out.